How we doing? Oh yeah, buckle your seatbelts. It's time for the audience participation part of the show. Are you ready? Okay, if you are enjoying the program so far tonight, let me hear you say, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. If this is your first time to Chicago Ideas Week, let me hear you say, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. If the Blackhawks are going to win the Stanley Cup this year, let me hear you say, oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Shameless pandering to the local crowd. That's what I'm all about. My name is Dan Black, and I'm the America's Director of Recruiting at EY. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about generational differences. And I'm really excited to be here. And to talk about generational differences, I want to get a sense for who is in the room. So let's get up this slide and find out. If you consider yourself a baby boomer, so your age, born 46 to 64, if you're a baby boomer, say, oh yeah. That was a little weak. I think they're tired from walking uphill, barefoot, in the snow. Let's do that one more time. If you're a baby boomer, let's say, oh yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Now, I got an oh hell yeah over here. Can we say that? It's too late. Okay. If you are Generation X, born 65 to 1980, let me hear you say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, not too bad. How about Generation Y? Let me hear you say, hashtag oh yeah. Okay, so we got a pretty good mix, Now, I figured I'd show you a little bit of what I'm about. You can see from these pictures, I'm obviously Generation X. And I'm a proud product of the 80s, and which means I was fashion declined for most of my life. I can't help but think of the Dos Equis guy when I see the slide. I don't embarrass myself in public often, but when I do, it's wearing polka dot pants. You know, stay cheesy, my friends. Yes. But let's talk a little bit about this Generation Y. It's this cohort is 80 million people strong here in the U.S. They're already 1/3 of the U.S. workforce, and in just 10 years. They are going to be 3/4 of the global workforce. 3/4. I tell that to my partners at my firm, and I get OMG, and they know what that means, because it's a scary thought. Because this generation has been called everything but the kitchen sink. For all the stats, for the population that they represent, they've been taking a lot of heat. Take a look at this. I call this is not a word cloud. This is a word black cloud. But I'm here to remind you tonight, in just the minute or two that I have, that Gen Y actually brings quite a few positives to the table. And I don't expect you to take my word for it. I'm a numbers wonk, I'm an accountant, and so I brought some data. Good, statistically significant data that was garnered from people who know a little bit about crunching numbers, your friends at EY. Commercial over. Okay. So this data, which we collected, it was sent out from a survey sent out to 1,200 people across the United States, all three generations, showed some pretty interesting things that I want to share with you right now. First and foremost, Gen Y is not just, the millennials are not just your entry-level employees anymore. They are coming of age. 90% of the Gen Y managers that we surveyed told us that they got that management role in the last 5 years. And they are looking to your company for their leadership development and their growth. They're counting on that. Secondly, it's not just the millennials that want flexibility, like I've heard 1,000 times in the media. In fact, our survey showed that Gen X is the most likely to leave an employer for a lack of flexibility. So maybe it's time we start talking about all our employees, talking about flexibility to all of our employees, instead of chastising the millennials for being so outspoken about it. Maybe. Gen Y also is probably a lot harder working than some of you might think. They were the ones, Gen Y women actually, the ones that to most significantly value promotions in the workforce, followed closely by Gen Y men. They want hard work. They're willing to put in hours, even at the expense of their own free time, as long as it's with a company that values what their unique skill set is and what they bring to the table. And last but not least, this bottom box on the right here should scare you. Our participants in this survey said that 70%, a huge number of employers, are already hard at work building the inclusive environment that's needed to harness the power of all four generations. So a lot of good stuff. There's some more information available. I encourage you to check that out. And going to go into our next speaker in a minute, but before I do, just 3 things I want you to keep in mind. I want you to take away when it comes to generations. Number 1, get the facts. Find out for yourself what this generation brings to the table. Because I think if you take away the negative stereotypes, you'll find a lot more synergies. Number 2, focus on flexibility. One size fits all is one size fits none. Find different ways for people to work together, to commute together, to do their work virtually, through technology, through different teams. You'll have much better results. And last but not least, educate your people. There's lots of great things that the generations can do together if you give them the power to work well with each other.